Total nitrogen applied, TNA reporting. This video is for growers enrolled in the Central Coast Water Board's Irrigated Lands Program who are required to submit a total nitrogen applied, or TNA, report. In this video, you will learn how to submit a TNA report. Who is required to submit a TNA report and when? This requirement is phased in depending on where your ranch is located. Growers whose ranches are in Groundwater Phase Area 2 must submit a TNA report for all crops grown in 2023 by March 1st, 2024, and for all crops grown in 2024 by March 1st, 2025. Growers will then transition to submitting an Irrigation and Nutrient Management Plan (INMP) summary report for all crops grown in 2025 by March 1st, 2026, and annually thereafter. Growers whose ranches are in Groundwater Phase Area 3 must submit a TNA report for all crops grown in 2023 by March 1st, 2024, and annually thereafter until 2027. Growers will then be required to submit an INMP summary report in 2028 and annually thereafter. Eventually, all growers will be required to submit the INMP summary report, which includes information in the TNA report and more. TNA Report Instructions. Growers should use the TNA instructions to help them with TNA reporting. This includes detailed information on what is needed for reporting, how to obtain and report the information, examples, troubleshooting error messages, and more. To find these instructions and other helpful TNA reporting resources, visit the Irrigated Lands Program website. Scroll down to the I am looking for section and select Total Nitrogen Applied Report / Irrigation and Nutrient Management Summary Report. This page provides detailed instructions on TNA, record keeping, and reporting. Recordkeeping Resources. Growers who have been keeping records of their nitrogen applications during the prior year will be well prepared to submit the TNA report for their ranch or ranches. For detailed instructions on TNA and INMP record keeping, please see the TNA and INMP record keeping tutorials and downloadable transcripts available in the video description below. These and other tutorials are on the Irrigated Lands Program website's Tutorials and Instructions webpage, available in English, Spanish, and Chinese. Growers who are members of the approved third-party program Central Coast Water Quality Preservation Inc., also known as Preservation Inc., should submit TNA reports to them. Please visit their website to learn more about their TNA submittal process or contact them directly. Growers who are not members of the approved third-party program, Preservation Inc., must submit their TNA reports through GeoTracker. The remainder of this video focuses on how to submit a TNA report for growers who are not members of Preservation Inc. Technical assistance providers and consultants are available to assist with TNA reporting. A link to a list of providers can be found in the description below and on the Irrigated Lands Program website. How to access the TNA report on GeoTracker. To access the TNA report, visit the GeoTracker website. Enter your username and password. Once logged in, you should see a list of ranch names on your GeoTracker dashboard. Scroll to the right of your ranch name and select Submit TNA Report for the ranch you are reporting on. Please contact Irrigated Lands Program staff at agnoi@waterboards.ca.gov if you need assistance. TNA Report Overview. The TNA report will show the reporting year and the reporting period on the top right corner of the form. Use the Reporting Year drop-down menu to select the correct reporting year for which you are submitting the TNA report. The reporting period is listed for the year in which you are submitting the TNA report. For example, when submitting a TNA report on March 1st, 2024, you will be using data from 2023, so the reporting year is 2023 and the reporting period is January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. The TNA report contains 7 sections, which we will cover in detail now. Section 1. General Ranch Information. The name of the operation, AW number, ranch name, and global ID, AGL number, are auto-populated from the Ranch Electronic Notice of Intent, or ENOI, so please make sure this information is up to date on your ranch ENOI before you start to fill out the TNA form. If the operation or ranch names need to be changed, please contact ILP staff before submitting the TNA report form. Physical ranch acres reporting and fallow acres. In this section, enter the total acreage for which you are submitting a TNA report. The physical reporting acreage includes all farmed acres plus any fallowed acres that were not under crop production during the entire 12 months. Report the fallowed acres as part of the physical ranch acres reporting box and separately in the corresponding fallow acres box. Acreage in which cover crops were grown should also be included, even if no nitrogen applications were made to the cover crops. This box is automatically populated with information reported in the Total Irrigated Acres section from the Electronic Notice of Intent, ENOI, but can be overwritten. The sum of total crop acres value is automatically calculated using the sum of total crop acres reported in a later section, Section 4, Nitrogen Applied. After completing Section 4, check to see if the sum of total crop acres box in Section 1 has turned gray. If so, all reported acres are accounted for. If the box remains highlighted in pink, please see the TNA instructions for troubleshooting this error. If your ranch is a greenhouse, nursery, or hydroponic operation, select the option that best describes how irrigation water is managed, recycled, and discharged from the greenhouse, nursery, or hydroponic drop-down menu. Assessor parcel numbers. The assessor parcel number is automatically generated from the ENOI ranch information page. Select the APNs that correspond to the physical acreage reported in the TNA report. Section 2. Nitrogen applied with irrigation water. Section 2A, Water Source. This section has two drop-down menu options that allow you to select the irrigation water source or sources that supplied the most volume of water to your ranch during the reporting period. Use the first drop-down menu if the primary source of irrigation water comes from either a well, city, or a surface water source. Use the second drop-down menu if the irrigation water comes from a recycled or reclaimed source. Either choose a single recycled water source, or if multiple sources are used, select the appropriate recycled water option that says, "and another source." Section 2B. If you reported that your primary source of irrigation water is from a well, city, or surface water source, report the average nitrate concentration and the estimated total volume applied in this section. Average nitrate concentration. Report the average concentration of nitrate in milligrams per liter for your irrigation water source or sources. This should not include liquid fertilizers applied during fertigation. Select the proper units of nitrate concentration you are using to report the irrigation water nitrate concentration. In instances where more than one source of water is used to irrigate and individual nitrate concentrations are known, growers can estimate the volume applied from each source of irrigation water to obtain and report the weighted average nitrate concentration. Use the tool linked in the TNA reporting form to calculate the weighted average nitrate concentration. Estimate total volume of water applied. Enter the total estimated gallons of water applied from all sources, including wells, water delivered by the city, or water sourced from surface water applied to the entire reporting acreage during the reporting period of January 1st to December 31st. Please see the irrigation record section of the TNA record-keeping video for details on estimating the total volume of water applied. To convert from acre feet or acre inches to gallons, use the Excel tool linked in the TNA report and below. Section 2C. Total nitrogen concentration. If you reported that your primary source of irrigation water is from recycled, reclaimed water from the drop-down menu, enter the total nitrogen concentration of the recycled water in milligrams per liter. Volume. Enter the total gallons of recycled or reclaimed water applied to the ranch during the reporting period with information provided by the agency or delivery facility. Please see the total nitrogen applied instructions for agency and facility contact information and additional resources for reporting this information. Section 2D, Nitrogen applied. This field automatically calculates the pounds of nitrogen applied with irrigation water per ranch acre using data entered in sections 2B and/or 2C. Section 2E, Volume Check. This field automatically calculates the estimated average acre-feet of water applied to each crop acre using data entered in sections 1 through 4. Section 3, Nitrogen applied with compost and other materials. In this section, report all nitrogen applied with compost, amendments, or other materials to the ranch during the reporting period if they were applied to improve the soil physical and/or chemical properties. Select the type of material applied from the drop-down menu. If the material is not listed, select Other and type the material name. Next, report the total pounds of nitrogen applied from compost, amendments, and all other nitrogen-containing materials. Then, report the total number of ranch physical acres where nitrogen applications from compost, amendments, and other materials were made. For example, if you applied 100 pounds of nitrogen in your compost all 4 of your ranch acres, report 4 acres. You can report the carbon to nitrogen ratio, but this is not a required field and is optional to report. Section 4, Nitrogen applied with conventional and/or organic fertilizers. In this section, report the total nitrogen applied in conventional and organic fertilizers to each specific crop harvested during the reporting period in pounds per crop acre. Report information for each specific crop grown on the ranch during the reporting period. First, select the specific crop or crops from the drop-down menu. Specific crop is a required field. At least one crop must be reported unless all acres were fallowed during the entire reporting period. Crop reporting must start at the crop row level, number 1. Total crop acres. Report the crop acres in each row for the specific crop reported. Nitrogen present in soil, pounds per crop acre. Report the nitrogen present in the soil in pounds per crop acre. Nitrogen present in the soil must be reported for at least one crop, at least one time per year. This information must be reported as the total pounds of nitrogen present per acre where the crop was grown. See the TNA reporting instructions and the TNA record-keeping tutorials for information on how to test nitrogen content in the soil. Nitrogen applied in conventional and organic fertilizers. Report the total nitrogen applied in conventional or organic fertilizers to each specific crop during the reporting period in pounds per crop acre. This information must be reported as the total pounds of nitrogen applied to a crop acre for all specific crops grown on the ranch during the reporting period. If a short-term crop was grown and harvested more than once during the reporting period, for example, 3 broccoli crops were harvested in a year, each broccoli crop can be reported in a separate row. Report the acres and the fertilizer applications for each one of the 3 broccoli crops. The broccoli crops can also be combined and reported together once, all in one row. In this case, growers need to calculate the weighted average amount of nitrogen applied in fertilizers. An Excel spreadsheet tool linked in the report form and below can be used to calculate the weighted average of fertilizer nitrogen applications. Please see the TNA reporting instructions and the TNA record-keeping video for details on keeping fertilizer records, calculating crop acres, and how to calculate nitrogen applications from fertilizer applications. Carbon to nitrogen ratio of organic fertilizer. If you applied organic fertilizer, report the carbon to nitrogen ratio in this section. Certified organic and conventionally grown crops. Specify if the crop was certified organic or conventionally grown using the drop-down selections. Crop duration. Report the crop duration from the drop-down selections. If a grower selects short-term crop, intermediate-term crop, final harvest, or long-term crop, final or annual harvest, it indicates the crop was harvested within the reporting period. If growers select a crop duration option for intermediate or long-term crops that were not harvested within the reporting period, they should select the option from the drop-down menu that includes Not Final Harvest. Additional information. Report any additional information related to the specific crop reported. If none apply, select NA. Please note that all crops must be reported or included even if they have not been harvested, were killed, disked in, left on the field, or terminated during the reporting period. Section 5, Basis for amount of total nitrogen applied. Select all the options that helped you determine your basis for total nitrogen applied. This includes sources of information used to guide your nitrogen application decisions and knowledge or data about the nitrogen taken up by the crops to produce the desired yield without over-applying nitrogen. Section 6, Explanations and Comments. Provide a brief explanation if the information on the report does not represent the entire 12-month reporting period, if the reporting acreage is different than the ranch acreage, for example, due to fallowed fields, if any other section in the report is incomplete, or if additional comments and explanations are necessary to assist with processing the form. Section 7, Certification. This section certifies that the TNA report has been reviewed and certified by the operator or responsible party listed on the ENOI. Once you have attested to this, select Save and Submit. A notification box should pop up indicating the report was submitted successfully. GeoTracker will not allow an incomplete TNA report to be saved or submitted. If a TNA report is incomplete and Save and Submit is clicked, a highlighted yellow list of incomplete and required fields will appear at the top of the form. If this occurs, please correct the errors listed in yellow at the top of the page and resubmit the TNA report. To view a previously submitted TNA report, click on the Submit TNA Report located to the far right of each ranch name. Once on the report page, click on the drop-down menu for reporting year in the gray box at the top of the report and select the report year you are interested in viewing. To open and edit a previous year's TNA report to revise or update information, please contact the Irrigated Lands Program staff. Thank you for working to protect water quality.